Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of our inaugural second set of semifinals best of 5 series between Titan and Execration is now underway. Titan took Game 1 in excellent form, convincing fashion, whatever phrase you want to use. It was demolition, domination. I'm Zyori, joined once again by the Dota hippie. What's up, Chris?
Not a lot. Ready to get into Game 2. I think Titan looked a little stronger than they should have because of the awkwardness of the draft. I think they definitely made some mistakes. And Execration had some chances. They just didn't have the heroes to capitalize on it properly.
Capitalize. Yes, indeed.
I don't even do that on purpose. It's just part of my vocabulary, and I need to break myself of it because I know what happens every time.
I've come to terms with it. You know, I roll with the punches. You know, capitalize. Let them go crazy in chat. That's what Twitch chat is there for, right? Spamming and lolling and flaming. I don't know. But yeah, Titan, they just got the better of the draft, and honestly, this draft is starting off a little bit scary. They ban out the Nature's Prophet this time, they being Execration. They also take the Lycan out. Titan ban out Doom and Batrider, so a couple of those scary heroes sneak by, but they are eager to first pick that Invoker, and already, I fear for Execration. Invoker is not an easy hero to deal with, especially if they go that Quas Wex build, though I wouldn't write off Exort. It is definitely an option. Titan may look for more of kind of a global strat around that Sunstrike build and then transition that into some pushing, you know, go that Ring of Basilius, Necronomicon style of Invoker. But two of the global heroes that I'm sure they would have loved to utilize in that strategy have already been picked up, the Ancient Apparition and Centaur. So it may just be a good old-fashioned Quas Wex Invoker in the mid lane. Time will tell as they get into their second pick.
Yeah, I was going to say, most of the time you see, oh, well, okay, there's a Shadow Demon, so maybe it could happen.
Yeah, there's your Sunstrike setup, so
yeah.
Hard to
But,
say.
you know, most of the time nowadays, if you're seeing Exort, it's because they also managed to take AA. But, you know, getting Invoker and AA on the same team is a very difficult drafting situation to put yourself in.
That's for sure. And, you know, it could also just be set up for something like a Shadow Demon Mirana. Mirana's a hero they like to run, as we saw in the last game, and honestly, here in the Eastern meta, Shadow Demon is just a hot to trot support. Teams like him for the reset value. Of course, the Demonic Purge and the Soul Catcher, just all around a solid support right now, and makes for a pretty good setup. So we could just be reading too far into it, and maybe they just wanted to run a Shadow Shaman as one of their supports. We'll have to see how the rest of the draft unfolds here. But I think Execration just need to not pigeonhole themselves so hard. It seemed like they drafted that Void without a lot of synergy around the Chronosphere, and then they didn't really have a lot of damage outside of the Void. But then he decided to build Ag Scepter so they could have more utility, but then it's just him inside the Chronosphere, and then he had to go BKB to survive, and then they have no damage, and it just seemed to be this kind of chutes and ladders of constantly getting shot in the foot.
Yeah, it was just awkward. But, you know, Centaur and AA, two pretty solid things. The beginning of Execration's draft last game was perfectly fine. They took the Centaur and, God, who was the second one? I'm trying to remember. Regardless, it wasn't something that really forced them into anything in particular. They weren't in a bad spot. It was literally just the last pick Void. So if they can avoid any stumbling blocks like that, I think they'll be okay.
I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just go for Luna there. I saw someone in chat saying, they're going to pick Luna, they're going to pick Luna. And I think she would have been a much better pick there. She has a little more teamfight presence. She does a bit more damage. If you want a hard carry like that, there are other options where, I mean, I think Void is actually okay right now in our current the current balance of things, but he's not one of those heroes that you can just throw in anywhere. You have to build around him. There has to be synergy around his ultimate. Luna is a bit more flexible in terms of create some space, let her farm, win game.
I would have probably liked to see a Lifestealer there, honestly.
Oh, yeah, a little Lifestealer action.
They had the puck for a little bit of mobility. They would have had the early rage, but that's neither here nor there. That's last game. I'll
you know, Ember Spirit has made it through here.
I love things that have already happened.
Yes, me too, but I wonder, will Titan get Invoker and Ember Spirit? Because that would just be ridiculous. And Execration will third pick Mirana, so again, maybe a little bit of a deny pick. They don't hand it over to Titan. Yamate is a mean Mirana player, but also that Shadow Demon makes her particularly valuable. Ember Spirit could be scary.
I don't like one Ember Spirit. I just don't inherently.
Well, they could put him mid and then safe lane the Invoker. I think they would safe lane the Invoker if they were going to pick Ember Spirit.
You could, but I don't. I mean, you're already telling me that the traditional Ember Spirit role is not really that of a space creator. I don't know. Maybe they do it.
Well, it's hard to say actually. I've seen them safe lane Ember Spirit as well. So it's one of those sort of kind of a crapshoot depending on how they're going to read the lanes and who they think will do better in the mid is kind of what it comes down to. You know, if it's something like a Dragon Knight, then they probably won't put the Ember mid, but if it's something squishy like a Storm Spirit or sort of Death Prophet or something ridiculous, then they would probably put the Ember there. But Titan will think about it. They'll burn into some of this reserve time and consider their options quite thoroughly. They will need an offlaner of sorts, and most of the big offlaners have been taken out of the pool here. Mirana and Centaur, as well as the Nature's Prophet, the big three, and then you've got the Nyx Assassin. So I'm kind of curious what Titan will offlane this game. A Clockwork may be an option for him.
Clockwork is really awkward against all three of the heroes that have already been picked by Execration, because if you cog anyone in, you're setting yourself... So if you cog in the Centaur, you're setting yourself up to get wrecked by the Centaur, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, he can sneak the double edge in. You're setting yourself
Well, it might be a puck
Mirana,
off lane, so maybe they just answered my question.
It could be. Yeah, it's probably a puck off lane.
But yeah, you're right. You're not. The more I think about it,
awkward draft for a Clockwork.
Not a good Clockwork. Mirana's got Leap, Centaur has got Boom Boom Pow, and Ancient Apparition has Cold Feet. So no matter how you work it, Clockwork's also not having a good time.
Yeah, and it's not just who you get in there, but who's outside it. I mean, having a Mirana and an AA outside your cogs just means you're dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So Rubik, the 4th pick for Execration, another pretty highly sought-after support. Does pair well with the Mirana, and I like Rubik with the Ancient Apparition. They kind of play to each other's strengths and weaknesses. AA doesn't have a lot of crowd controls. Rubik, he's got some damage, but just kind of a different amount of utility, so... I don't know. I just like them together. They seem to have a nice bit of harmony there.
Well, they're just overall versatile and strong, and they're both not only good in lane, thanks to the Chilling Touch, thanks to telekinesis, thanks to all those things, but they're also really strong team fighters. And especially against, getting your hands on some of the Invoker spells, now getting your hands on something like Burrow Strike, the Puck Nukes. There's a lot of pretty solid spells here for Rubik to steal.
Yeah.
Nothing like game-breaking, but you're not going to get anything particularly bad either.
Right. And here we go. 4th pick, Titan Sand King. I should have predicted this one. If Sand King is not banned out by this point, you better believe that Titan are going to grab him for net. That is a signature hero-player combination, and more often than not, you'll see teams throw out the respect ban on the Sand King when they're up against the mighty net. Chris, you are in for a treat. I was not a believer at the beginning. The first time I cast a Titan, Roland gave me the lowdown. He's like, listen, you got to watch this guy, net Sand King. It's legendary. It's insane. Just watch. And... I don't know, man. He's redefined the hero in my eyes. He sets up these ridiculous plays. He's ridiculously good at reading where a fight is going to break out. You'll see him like a minute and a half ahead of time just plant himself in the trees and just kind of hang out there. And you're thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Is he taking a nap? Is he smoking a cigarette? Is he looking for items in the shop? And then 60 seconds later, you'll see the other team push forward, and all of a sudden, you've got an Epicenter Burrow Strike triple kill for net. And you're like... Guess he saw that one coming, and it's happened enough times that you can't chalk it up to luck anymore. He really is good at reading game momentum, and just keep your eyes on the Sand King this game. I have faith.
Should I just put it on player perspective? Yeah. Watch nothing but net all game.
Nothing but net. I love it. Oh, it's a basketball term. How good. Oh man, yeah, nothing but net. It's I know I sound like a fanboy, but it really is impressive. That's just one of those particular player-hero combinations that is just a little ridiculous. So, Execration, they'll try and hedge their bets against the mid lane with this Templar Assassin, but this is a little bit of a risky pick because they're picking this TA to deal with the puck, but where's the puck going to be laned? It's a little bit hard to read. I don't know if puck will be safe lane, if they're going to do an aggro try, or if puck will be mid. This last pick should be telling about whether it'll be an aggro try or a safe lane try, but puck could honestly be in any of these 3 lanes.
It's true. The TA will also, unless it's an Exort Invoker, deal with the Invoker okay? Because it's not like you're going to get a lot of good cold snap up. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Well,
that's unpleasant.
They've got a hero to deal with that TA.
Okay, well, that's why on the Invokers. So do you think he'll safe lane it, or do you think he'll still go mid?
I honestly am not sure. This is...
Maybe Invoker's one of those heroes that you don't want to swap it between people, because whoever is used to playing your Invoker... he's by far your best Invoker player. There's just so many nuances to that hero that you don't want to just kind of say, oh, we want to put him in the 1 position, so let's give him to this other player. More like you swap your player roles around for 1 game. So I think it could be a safe lane Invoker still.
It could be. It very well could be. This is just one of those that's kind of hard to read. Both sides have specific counter picks. Obviously, TA to go up against the Puck, and Titan want the Viper to go up against the TA. So there's this kind of weird lane shuffling that's going to happen where both teams may try and hyper-analyze and do really weird lane setups to try and find their ideal scenario. It will be Ohio on the Puck, and he is the off-lane player, so I think it is safe to assume that Puck will not be mid. Yamate on the Viper, and like you mentioned, KYXY on the Invoker. They do switch things up. Sometimes it's KYXY mid, sometimes it's Yamate in the mid lane. Another reason that Titan can be difficult to try and draft against, because you don't really know who's going to be where just based on which player has which hero. You kind of have to scout it out and get to the lane to figure it out. So your guess is as good as mine, Hippie. That's the moral to this story.
Says KYXY's going mid.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it. So it will be Invoker mid. Viper, I guess, in the safe lane. And yeah, Ohio, he'll just go offlane. So Titan will actually do it pretty straightforward. Truly offlane Puck. It will be a safe lane tri-lane. Net will be on the Sand King. It will be Extinct on the Shadow Demon. And of course, NWP Yamate himself on the safe lane Viper. Now, Execration, they'll press forward. 5-man roam into the dire jungle. And Titan are positioned appropriately here. I don't know that anyone will get caught off guard. I think Execration are really just looking for intel more than anything else here, just trying to figure out how the hell is this going to be laned, and where do we put our TA.
Also, they're dealing with some of the sentry wards to make sure that the Sand King can't be doing any of that jungling.
Yeah. Well,
once he gets that Sandstorm running.
Yeah, that's true. There will be a Dire Observer here on the high ground to give a little vision of that top rune. And it will be a Radiant Sentry in this hard camp, as Hippie just mentioned here. And that'll slow down the Sand King's dance party in the jungle just a little bit, but not too big of a deal. It's only a sentry, so at the end of the day, it will only slow him down so much. And the Radiant will actually put a ward down in the exact same location. So 2 wards made in heaven right here to get some vision of this double damage rune that will spawn at the 0-0 mark.
You have the lame default ward, and then you have the literal best ward in the game. In my minds. I love that Vine ward, man. It's my favorite.
Yeah,
I use it all the time.
It's pretty cool. I'm partial to the Mike Wazowski wards myself, but... And it looks like Execration will find the lane setup that they're looking for. It will be Abang on the Templar Assassin in the safe lane here. Solo mid Ninja Boogie on the Mirana, and that means it will be an aggro try. BGO1 on the Ancient Apparition. EU on the Centaur War Runner, and Fox will be on the support Rubik. So they will find the TA versus Puck, which is exactly what they were looking for. TA should, on paper, smash this lane, but we have certainly seen times where Pucks can get the better of TAs when it comes down to player skill. It's not a free win, even though players of exact equal skill and hero ability, TA should be able to harass the Puck pretty hard. And as we see here, Ohio getting knocked back pretty darn far with that full reaction charge. In the mid, KYXY will be up against the Mirana, so should be a pretty decent lane for him. Honestly, Invoker Mirana is not a mid matchup you get to see all too often, so I think the Invoker should have a pretty good time. He will be going Exort, so plenty of damage, and Sunstrikes will be a reality here for setup with that Shadow Demon.
Yeah, one of the nice things he's going to have going for him is that Mirana's base damage is pretty low, so while usually the first level of Exort just boosts you up to comparable base damage to your opponents, he's now beating the Mirana pretty significantly, so he should be able to, despite the fact that she got an early DD, got a lot of CS off of that, obviously she's sitting 6 and 7 to his 2 and 3, KYXY should be able to recover very, very nicely as far as CS goes, especially once he gets a second point in that Exort.
Yep, you're absolutely right about that. Mirana, not typically the strongest mid laner. There are a few Mirana players that take a mid. Sing Sing is the one that comes to mind on that solo mid Mirana, but Titan tend to play her more in the off lane or in the position 1 than in the solo mid role. Yamate off to the races in terms of last hits. He is our last hit leader out of the gate, 10-1 in the safe lane, and looks like Centaur doing okay for himself. He is 7-3, so relatively even, but hard to last hit against the Viper. He has it pretty easy in lane.
I think one of the problems that Execration could run into up here is if they don't get any killing done and they're just sapping the Centaur's experience the entire time, that becomes a problem because his damage output is going to be significantly lower at minute 8 or 9 than it would be otherwise. Whereas the Viper, because he has people pulling, won't be losing nearly as much.
Yes, you're exactly right about that. This setup is much more efficient for Titan. And also, they're not as level dependent. Viper, he really just wants farm right now. Levels are important, but not as important as the Centaur. And usually that's why he's an ideal solo offlaner, because he wants to get Stampede pretty much as early as possible. Farm is great for that Blink Dagger, but at the end of the day, he needs levels. The earlier he can hit that level level 8, level 9 mark to get Hoof Stomp and Double Edge capped out, the more burst damage he can do. And an aggro tri-lane like this where the supports are forced to leech experience in lane is not good news for him peaking in that tail end of the laning phase when you would normally see a Centaur moving around making plays. It seems like Puck is really recovering the bottom lane, though. Ohio has actually now become our last hit leader. 3 up on the TA, but even just a break-even of a TA Puck lane is a huge edge for the Puck.
Well, as we're getting levels up, it's going to become a bigger problem. The Sideblade Harass obviously is available now. But, I mean, that is one of the things about doing this in a side lane, though, is because the lane isn't so neatly arranged.
Up top, Initiation onto the Ancient Apparition, Burrow Strike. And the Sunstrike on the mark as well. You in the front line doing a lot of damage with the Double Edge, but will they have enough to secure the kills? It doesn't look like it. Yes, they will get the Shadow Demon. Now Net hopping forward. He wants you, but it'll cost him the Double Edge. It's a double kill going the way of Execration. Oh no, the poison from the Shadow Demon will be enough to finish off the Centaur, but still a disaster for Titan. The first blood comes out, and it is... actually, who picked up the first blood there? It wasn't the Centaur. But it was the Rubik who got the bonus gold. So Execration actually off to a pretty good start with this aggro try.
Yeah, and it definitely helps that the Centaur managed to nab the experience from that last kill since it went down after the Sand King did. But it's not enough to even him with that Viper still. He's still sitting a little bit below level 4.
Yeah, you're certainly right. That's where that tri-lane that we were talking about will start to harbor him, but at least steps in the right direction. They find that first kill, and uh-oh, now Yamate could be in some trouble. He'll get telekinesis forward. You looking for the Hoof Stomp. He does have 2 points in that Double Edge. He'll be on the mark, and Yamate, he'll take a spill. Extinct trying to get in range for that defensive disruption, but can't get there in time, and that'll make it 3-1 as Execration pull ahead. But not by as much as you would think. Titan are just finding better farm around the map. Invoker in the mid lane is just stomping the opposition. Mirana now 14-8 compared to the 29-13 KYXY. It's so bad that they've had to pull a lane rotation. And now it's TA, who's only level 5, moving into the mid lane to deal with the level 6 Invoker. And they'll try and put Ninja Boogie in the safe lane so we can find some recovery farm. So even though this tri-lane is going well for Execration, their other 2 lanes are pretty much a disaster at this point.
Yeah, and the tri-lane is, I mean, it's going well, but it's not, like, crushingly well. Viper's getting perfectly good CS. He's sitting 20-3. The fact that you had to rotate your TA away from the Puck because she's getting destroyed so bad, I mean, as well as the Mirana losing to the Invoker, that's a really, really bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, you picked this TA specifically to counter the Puck. That's really the only reason they grabbed her. Like, sure, maybe a Bang likes playing TA, but... essentially, it was to counter Ohio, and when Ohio goes even in the lane, and then you have to pull a lane rotation, and now TA, I mean, she's not going to be able to farm too well against this Invoker, who's now looking pretty farmed. You're in rough shape, and as we talked about with Centaur, not to sound like a broken record, but he'll have an okay time playing. But and yeah, that looks like it'll be a kill in the mid lane. So they will converge on him. Double damage on TA. Good call there. I caught the tail end of it, but. Yeah, Execration will pull ahead 4-1, but still, the laning issues that we talked about are a bit of a problem, and even the experience edge still going the way of Titan, even though they're down by 3 hero kills. Puck is just free farming in this bottom lane. And he did go phase boots.
Big one. Because the Puck is getting farmed down here, and there's no one contesting him. So this lane, you're not getting any of the available experience if you're Execration. Because they have to rotate the Mirana to do something.
Moonlight Shadow. They'll engage with the Hoof Stomp onto Yamate. There's the disruption to reset. Net, level 3 Sand King coming in. Cold Feet will come out onto the Viper. They'll try to turn it around onto Rubik, and Invoker gets the kill with the Sunstrike. Puck joining the party. Dream Coil comes out, secures the kill onto the Centaur. Now they'll go for this TA. She gets stunned up. They do finish off Ancient Apparition. And here's the Titan we've come to know. It'll be a 4-0 in the top lane. The defensive disruption from the Shadow Demon making it all possible. And now Execration. What a disaster, Hippie. Disgusting, as LD would say.
Funniest part is that defensive disruption wasn't even all that great because he disrupted him into immediately getting cold feeted. Sure, he delayed some of the possible damage, but I think he was trying to save him from getting cold feeted right there. It's just the presence of Ohio, the fact that he's gotten that good farm in the bottom lane, the fact that he was able to come in with a bottle with his level 6, get off that perfect Dream Coil. He caught 3 heroes with that, and he nuked everyone, set Net up for a couple of big stuns on top of that. That Puck right there. Big plays. Yeah,
he really rotated it just about the perfect time. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, sitting only on phase boots and bottle right now, but talk about being in the right place at the right time, and they turn it around. KYXY wasn't even in the fight as well. He Did what he could with the Sunstrike to secure that first kill, but that fight also created a lot of space for the Invoker. He's now the last hit leader, and actually #1 on net worth, getting a little bit of experience, as he did finish off that first kill. So across the board, just great news for Titan. And, oh, is that his Midas already?
250, yeah.
Very close to it, yep. So 2,000 gold, 2,000 experience for Titan, and now they're off to the races. No towers down quite yet, 5-4 in hero kills. Execration, both supports smoked up in the top lane. Looks like they want to find vengeance on this Viper. And maybe they'll find it. Telekinesis in, defensive disruption onto, aggressive disruption, pardon me, onto the Centaur. Stops him from getting off the hoof stomp, double edge. Well done by Extinct. Makes Yamate's life easy.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what they want to be doing, because if the Cold Feet gets off before you get that defensive disruption, like I mentioned, you only have 2 heroes there. So unless you're counting on a TP rotation in, if the Viper gets Cold Feet stunned, he's dead. So they can't really count on the defensive disruption unless they know that there's going to be 1 or 2 heroes arriving pretty much immediately within that 2.5-second window. So just getting off on the Centaur, much, much, much more valuable.
And, oh, down in the bottom lane, Mirana actually almost falls to the Puck. Is forced to burn the Moonlight Shadow. Puck has no detection, and that'll keep Mirana alive. Meanwhile, on the top lane, they'll go for an initiation. Sunstrike will be on the mark. Burrow Strike to make sure it happens. And this might be a kill on the Centaur. Here, they will secure the kill. He gets the Stampede off before he dies, but yeah, it's a massacre here. They'll make it a 1-for-3. They secure the kill on the Viper, and it is Rubik who secures that bit of bonus gold, ending the killing spree, but a 1-for-3. Obvious advantage going the way of Titan, and that'll be a level 7 now on net Sand King. And look at the Sand King build here, Hippie. Pretty common, but level 7, no point in Epicenter. You got to get those extra points in Sandstorm because, hey, you got to farm the jungle if you're playing Sand King.
He's going for a quick earn, I've noticed. I mean, he wants to be a lot more active, doesn't want to go for that fast blink, and it goes in with the fact that he didn't get that Epicenter, as you mentioned. Because he's not just relying on all-in initiation for the early game, he knows he'll be able to farm up with that Sandstorm, get it a little bit later, so he can afford to go in for some of these other items, and it gets him a little bit of that mana stability that he's going to be lacking since he's not going mana boots.
Yep. Certainly right. Oh, Arrow connects onto Ohio as Ninja Boogie ports in. Ohio won't get the phase shift off. He does try to orb back to safety, but a nice little kill there from Ninja Boogie, just completely catching Ohio off guard, and that'll set him back on his quest to achieving a Blink Dagger. Still has 1,300 gold, so not too far off the mark, but a much-needed kill for Execration there. And a little bit of recovery for Ninja Boogie.
It's still a serious problem, though. I mean, just look at the last hits. Look at the Invoker. He's got his Midas. He's already almost had 1 full use out of it. 10 seconds left for his second one. He's sitting 64 and 21 at 11 minutes, way above anyone else in the game. And then, I mean, he's almost 20 last hits above the last hit leader for Execration, which is that TA. Sitting 46 and 10. All she's got is Phase Boots Bottle Bracer.
Yeah. And Mirana will leap in the bottom lane. Ohio did have a Dream Coil, but didn't want to burn it there. The right choice. There were supports inbound that probably could have turned things around. But yeah, actually, just looking at last hits, Titan have the top 3 on the last hit chart are all of the 3 core laners for Titan. So that kind of just spells out how this laning phase has gone for them. 8-6 in hero kills makes it sound a little more even, but 4,000 gold and experience edge for our Dire team. Hand of Midas already out on the Invoker, like you were mentioning, and yeah, no Midas for Execration. Any other really core items? Ring of Aquila is pretty much the only thing they picked up, but oh yeah, Ninja Boogie gets initiated on, and Sunstrike secures the kill, so KYXY even getting a little bit of bonus experience in gold for that one.
He's mooching.
He's mooching.
I don't even need to be there. I'm just going to, you know, cut in, take some of that from you guys.
Yamate up top, Centaur Stampede burned, Courier flying in, but it will about face. As it makes a short delivery here. Yamate will turn it around, make it a 1-for-1. Finishes off the Centaur, so there you go. Could have been a lot worse. It looked like a free kill for Execration, but 1-for-1, not too shabby. Unfortunately, Viper won't get the experience for it, but still slowing down that Centaur's blink even more. 1,200 gold at the 12-minute mark. Looks like a repeat of last game.
I'm pretty sure that delivered the point booster, that courier that came in.
Yes,
you know, I checked
it did.
to make sure. Yeah, so it delivered the point booster, which probably let him live just long enough to get off that last poison attack.
Yeah, I thought he canceled the courier first, but it looks like it did make the drop.
I saw it turn around, and I immediately checked the inventory. I was like, oh, did he actually get it off? And yeah, he got the transfer.
Yeah, so Mirana secures a tower deny in the mid lane. The rest of Titan kind of pressuring this bottom tier 1, and it doesn't look like a deny will be inbound. So first tower falls, and again, steps in the right direction for Execration, but only minimizing their losses there, still losing map objectives, and it will cost them a tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. So even furthering the gold lead for Titan. And this Invoker, he is one rich bitch, 2,500 gold. There's your Blink Dagger on Puck, and Yamate, he actually might not be out of the clear. They're going to set the trap, and they're going to go in on him. Moonlight Shadow flies, support's coming in. All Yamate has to do is survive, but it's not happening. Maybe Net can find a return kill. There is a dire sentry down, just about to expire, right before Moonlight Shadow does. And it will end up being a 1-for-0 up here in the top lane, as Yamate gets that ticket back to the well. But look at Net. What did I say, Chris? He's hiding in the trees. That's the little Net box right there. And maybe we'll see a big play come out. Still no Blink Dagger. Epicenter ready, but no, Execration will just back out. And they won't make Net's life easy.
So what do you think we're gonna get here from KYXY? Sitting on 2,900 gold right now.
It's a Necro book.
Okay, it's gonna be a Necro book.
Yep.
I was gonna say Necro book is an option. Maybe he goes Boots of Travel, but it's a Necro book.
Yeah, pretty common on these Exort Invokers. The Basilius into Necro book is really the build that we see primarily. It just synergizes so well with the Forged Spirits and gives you a bit of utility. And also, once he gets that higher level Necro book, he'll be able to reveal the Moonlight Shadow. So, sort of a twofold smart item choice in this game, I think. But looks like things could be brewing up top. Storm in a teacup style. This Viper, though, he is pretty scary. No mech, which is a little bit unfortunate for Titan. Another game where I think a mech could help them out quite a bit. 18 kills in 14 minutes. They do seem to be pretty dedicated to grouping up and knocking down towers, which is something mech does help out with quite a bit. But maybe they can get away without it.
They're not completely lacking in stability because Net went in for the Urn, though. So at least they can like keep a push going over time, even if they don't have quite as much direct engagement strength. Oh, on to you.
Yeah, there's the Dream Coil from Puck to start things off. Viper Strike as well. That should be a pretty easy kill. Sunstrike onto Fox. That'll take him low. Puck gets picked off. It's a 1-for-2 to get things started. TA with a Blink Dagger showing it off. Defensive Disruption from Extinct buys him a bit of time, but at the end he will still fall. TA gets finished off. Triple kill for Yamate, and he's not done yet. He wants to dive further. Invoker joining the party, getting some more shots off onto Fox. That'll secure an ultra kill. Will it be the Rampage? Ninja Boogie leaps back to safety, eats some wand charges. Negative Urn, but won't be enough for the kill. Now, and that was an Ancient Apparition just joining the party. Arrow does connect onto Net. Will the follow-up be there? Yamate, he'll secure this kill. No, Invoker gets it. Double kill for Invoker and an ultra kill for the Viper. They lose just their Shadow Demon. And Rubik even bought back there. That was a 6-for-1 trade in favor of Titan.
That was pretty ridiculous. I don't even know what to say.
That was just
like, there's so many poor decisions from Execration. I mean, the Rubik buyback initially I actually thought was pretty good. He got them back into the swing of things, but KYXY arrives just in time to turn that fight around again because it looked like Titan bit off more than they can chew. But then the Invoker coming in with these level 6 Exort Forge Spirits from the back. I'm not sure he actually used the Necro Minions. I didn't see him running around. People are very careful with the level 1 Necro Minions.
Yeah, well, he used
so much free gold.
He did just finish off that tier 1 tower, so they were gearing up for a deny, but Invoker actually got the last hit, and now Titan. Just about 10,000 gold, 7,500 experience. They are just in great shape here across the board. TA is kind of the saving grace for Execration right now. Is she farmed enough is the question. There's the level 2 Necro book on the Invoker, and TA has a Blink Dagger, but another one of these scenarios where it's a great utility item, but she's squishy and kind of lacks damage output right now.
I mean, it's certainly better than what it was on the Void because she has so much natural damage output thanks to the Refraction and the Meld. And I mean, the positioning requirement on the Meld obviously isn't very, very high because she's only got level 1 side blades. So she has to be right on top to be able to get at her maximum damage potential. And,
Yu just takes a spill up top. Net starts it off, and KYXY there with plenty of damage to follow up. Caught the tail end of it, and that'll be just a free kill on the Centaur.
Necro 3. 17-minute Necro 3 on this Invoker.
Yeah, that is scary.
This is dangerous.
That is scary. He had an early Midas, and he's gone pretty much unchecked. Invoker is 5-1-6. So, yeah, KYXY having a pretty good game. Ohio with an Invisibility Rune on. Will be in a very aggressive position down here in the bottom lane, but I don't think Execration will be able to scout him out. They do have a couple sentries down, but they're just not privy to him being nearby. And Titan will just continue to press forward. Blink Dagger now up on Net. And this is when things get a little bit scarier.
Ooh, very, very nearly getting hit by that arrow was Net. But that's, oh man, that Blink Dagger combined with the Puck Blink Dagger combined with the fact that Viper now is very, very tanky.
He has a Hooded Defiance. What is...
Yeah, or it's not Aghanim's, Point Booster.
Yeah,
sorry.
Point Booster, and then
Aghanim's
he took a detour. He went the Hooded Defiance after the Point Booster, so just tanking up for that magic damage.
I mean, against the Centaur, who
There's
can
the
blame
pipe. Yeah. Wow. I like this play from Yamate, but just look at the discrepancy in inventories. In terms of big items, Execration have a Blink Dagger on TA and a Ring of Aquila on Mirana, if you can even count that as a big item. Meanwhile, on Titan, they've got 2 Blink Daggers, a Force Staff, level 3 Necro Book, and now a pipe. This is just... It's going to be rough. I don't know how Execration are going to take these next team fights. Looks like they will do a little bit of tower exchanging. Titan group up to pressure the bottom tier 2, but their tier 1 top and mid will take a bit of damage, but not very much. They'll finish off the tier 2 and still have plenty of time to defend. One will port up top. Meanwhile, in the mid, Rubik gets picked off. Moonlight Shadow flies from the Mirana. It'll be a Viper going blow for blow with the TA. TA just tries to port out, and he will be able to make it out in time. Meanwhile, in the mid, Titan looking for the engagement. Mirana does leap back, but it won't be to much avail. Sunstrike to finish off the kill. Puck actually gets the last hit, but Sunstrike would have done the dirty anyhow. He'll make it out, and just Titan demolishing every single lane. They get 2 kills, get the tier 2 tower kill, and then defend both their tier 1s in the top and the mid.
That could have been so much worse, though. You had a really, really nice hoof stomp that hit one here on the high ground and one on the low ground. He positioned himself brilliantly well. That probably would have been 3 heroes dead instead of 1. If he hadn't connected with that. So, Execration, at the very least, stopping themselves from losing everything right here.
Well, then they lose their tier 2 tower.
Towers.
Yeah, I think this tier 2 up top is going to be in trouble also. So, I hate to call games too early, but it's starting to feel like this one is just a little bit over. 14,000 gold, 12,000 experience, and the inventories are the most telling part. There's just no item progression for Execration, and not that it's their fault at this point. They've lost map control. They can't take team fights, and they just, frankly, needed to do better in the laning phase. That's really what this game comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the laning situation. I don't know what you want me to say, man. You hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah,
you have the Mirana, who was weak laned against the Invoker. You have the TA, who should theoretically beat the Puck based on skills, but because of side laning and kind of awkwardness of positioning, it makes side blade harass not quite as easy to get off. Which is, something I started to say, and then I think there was a fight, so I just wanted to finish that.
Yeah.
And then the aggressive tri-lane just didn't do everything it needed to. It was really good at getting a couple of kills, but it didn't, except when the kills were happening, there was no pressure on the Viper. He was free-farming most of the time, and just occasionally dying. And, dying once or twice in a 3v3 while you're getting more experience and more gold than the enemy 3v3,
right?
While your other 2 lanes are winning, they're committing 3 heroes up there. That's space creation.
Exactly. And you hit the nail on the head with the Viper. Even though he got first blooded, Yamate still had such a CS edge over the Centaur. I mean, now it's a huge disparity as this game has continued. But even in the lane, Viper spending time having to port back and even time in the well, still out farming the Centaur with that tri-lane. So not ideal for Execration. Looks like a fight could be breaking out in the mid lane. In no man's land right now. He could get caught. Team support is kind of inbound, but very aggressive positioning here. Luckily for him, Titan won't scout it out. They don't have any wards down on that side of the river, but a little bit of a risky position coming from him. Titan moving towards the Roche pit. Looks like they do want to roll the dice a little bit, and I think they have a gem up. Yeah, they sure do in the inventory of the Puck, so they've got some map control. There are no wards down for the Dire. And, pardon me, down for the Radiant right now. 1 down for the Dire. It is this Observer outside of the Roshan pit, but what would normally be a little bit of a risky Roche, Execration have absolutely no clue, and it will be completely uncontested.
That's going to be Aghanim's for Viper in 15 gold. So he's going to have pipe Aghanim's treads at 22 minutes. That's pretty darn good.
About that.
Yeah, this is looking very, very dangerous. Is that the word we'd like to use here?
That's a fair word. That's
dangerous.
It's a nice
Execration
word.
has really good damage potential, but the problem is now, so they've got the good, Titan has the good counter item in the pipe, right? So if that comes up before the Centaur gets all his damage out, before the AA lands his ultimate, that right there is neutering some of Execration's strong potential.
Up top, Epicenter on the TA. Net was hiding in the trees, and they'll try to turn this into a kill. Trying to port out, Ohio hops in, and they'll finish off the Templar Assassin before she can make it back to safety. Net setting it up, and that would have been an easy kill if the Refraction wasn't on. Unfortunately, Refraction absorbed most of the Epicenter damage, but still, well done. Yeah, 8 pulses. He only got 2 pulses off, so A close call, but they punished the TA, and now Titan will just press on forward. They've got the Aegis. They've got a 4v5 on the field, and they'll use this power play to try and break the base, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly can. They're only going to get 2 heroes caught by that AA blast right there, and it's 2 reasonably tanky heroes. How many earn charges of it? Oh, KYXY.
He just finds a solo kill in the mid lanes. All right, you guys break the base. I'll take care of the Mirana. I got it. Don't worry, team. That was just... get wrecked. As Lysander said last time I casted with him, well, no, it was different. He said they got a mech and still got wrecked. I'm going to say they didn't get mech, so they did get wrecked. It's my new favorite phrase. Uh-oh.
I see.
I see, yeah, indubitably. Maybe we'll see initiation here. A beautiful burrow strike coming out from net as Execration hopped forward. Centauri pops a stampede and just gets wrecked right afterwards. Now the TA, she'll buy back, get picked off. Mirana buys back as well. And maybe a dieback coming from her. Execration will get completely cleaned up here. Looks like a 5-for-0 exchange. It'll be even more than that as all the buybacks come out. GG, well played from Execration. Not a moment too soon. A quick game number 2, 27-10 after 24 minutes of gameplay. Hippie, we're moving into a game 3. Titan looking good to seal out this series, perhaps in a 3-0 clean sweep.
They're looking like they're in very, very good form. Execration needs to dig deep. And maybe they need to make some drafting adjustments because they're just getting run over in the laning phase. Maybe they need to put more emphasis on that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Titan, one of these teams, how do you draft against them? You know, what do you ban? It seems like no matter which scary heroes they leave in the pool, Titan will scoop them up and just punish them so hard. First game, it was the Ember Spirit, and here in game 2, it was the Invoker. Overall, just solid drafting from Titan, though. They saw the TA, and then they grabbed the Viper at the end, made the lanes hard to read, and even with the counter picks, Ohio still won the lane against Templar Assassin. So maybe just a slight skill difference here a little bit. Not just coming down to picks, but we'll see how Execration alter their picking and their picking and banning here as we come into game number 3. That was game 2, guys. I'm Zyori. With me is Hippie. Thank you for joining us for inaugural semifinals coverage. Game 3 coming up after this short break.